Hey guys, it's Victoria, and this is my 31-week pregnancy update. I'm just going to take my bracelets off because they make too much noise. I am 31 weeks and 2 days today. Today is Wednesday. I will be uploading this tomorrow morning as part of Vlogmas. Tomorrow is Vlogmas day 11, and I've been having a lot of fun making lots of videos and getting them all posted. So hopefully you guys have checked out some of them. It's been a good week. There's sort of a lot to talk about, so I guess I will start with my appointments. I had an OB appointment and an ultrasound today, and that's why I waited until today to do my update, as I normally film on Mondays for my updates, but I thought I'd wait until today so I'd have more to talk about, and I do have more to talk about. So things are good. At the ultrasound, which I had first, baby's measuring great. She looks like she's about 4 pounds, 2 ounces. So she's right on about the 50th percentile, which has been her growth curve the whole time, which is great. Fluid looked good. Everything looked really, really good with baby. And my cervix, it is shorter than it was. It was in the mid 3 centimeters. I can't remember exactly. And right now it is, I've just got notes, which is why I'm looking down. It is about between 2.7 and 3 centimeters, which she is happy with. She said that they like to see about 3 or higher at this point. She said that she personally is comfortable with anything over 2.5. She feels that that is normal. So it has gotten shorter, but it's not in a dangerous place at all. So she said going forward, not to really change anything I've been doing, but to try to be careful not to lift as much as possible. And I have been doing that all along, but I will be a little bit more conscious of it now. I will try to get the kids to climb into their own car seats and to climb in and out of their beds themselves. And Noah, there's no problem with him. He does those things on his own for the most part. But Alexandria, I tend to, just because it's quicker to lift her into her car seat and lift her out, but she can get in by herself, so I will try to encourage that. She said to try and not go get groceries and do things that are too strenuous. And on that note, we actually went to Costco and had a huge order on Sunday, and then I went to the grocery store last night, got the kids in bed, went by myself. There was an impending storm that ended up turning into rain. It poured rain, heavy, heavy rain all day. And it's calling for rain the rest of the week, so it's kind of miserable. It's probably going to take away all of our snow, which I don't really want. So anyway, I went to the grocery store and got a huge order, probably the biggest grocery order I've ever gotten. And I made a meal plan from now until after Christmas, so I at least have everything I need to make meals from now until then. And then if we need a few things along the way, that's easy for Matthew to run out and get. But the big things that you need for making meals, I find men, my man anyway, would probably just get to the store and not really know what he was looking for. So I went and did that. So I shouldn't have to go back to the grocery store for anything crazy. My Christmas shopping is pretty much done, other than a few like the last minute stocking stuffers. Kids are awake. That I have to pick up, and we usually go, my mom and my sister and I will go Christmas Eve and get those. So anyway, so I shouldn't have too much to do, and I'm trying to limit, like I tend to want to take the kids to a lot of activities and stuff. Like on Monday there's a music program, and then next Friday the library has a Christmas party, and I want to do those things, but physically it's hard and it's tiring, and I know I should probably try to take it easy as much as I can. But on the other hand, staying home is hard too, and it makes the days long. So trying to find the balance between that, and I've talked about that all along. So anyway, the big news is that she is head down, which I am shocked, because if you know my history, I have a condition called uterus didelphys, which means I have 2 uteruses, and it's pretty common for babies to be breached with this condition. And since you have 2, they tend to be smaller, so there's not as much room for the baby to flip. Now my son, he was head down early in my left side, and he stayed that way. My daughter, she was breech early, and she stayed that way. So this baby is in the same side as my breech C-section, so she's been head up the whole time. My last ultrasound would have been at 27 weeks. She was head up, and you know, I held out hope for a while that she would turn, but I kind of had given up at this point. So today when the nurse we were waiting for the doctor to come in, and she was just getting some measurements, and I said, so I assume she's in the same position, you know, head up to the side. She's like, oh no, her head's down. And I think my jaw hit the floor. I was shocked. I did not think she would flip. So I'm really, really excited about that. And that'll bring me to a couple of the symptoms that I've been having, which makes sense now that I know she's flipped. So I talked to that doctor, and I go to a maternal fetal medicine specialist for my ultrasounds. And so I talked to her a little bit about the idea of a VBAC, because that is what I'm hoping for, and I've been hoping for all along. My son was vaginal, my daughter was C-section, and then this one I'm hoping to have another vaginal. So I talked to her a little bit, and she said, you know, the big risk is uterine rupture, which is the biggest risk for anyone, but it's pretty much unknown how increased that risk would be for me with my odd uterus, because it's really, there's no data on that, because the condition itself is pretty rare, and the number of VBACs in the same uterus that had the C-section, it's really unknown. So that's kind of what she said. So I left that appointment, went right over to my OB's office, and my mom was actually with me for my appointments today, which was nice. She got to come to the ultrasound, and she's made it to an ultrasound for both of the other kids, so she got to come to this one, so that was nice. So she was with me, so she just waited in the waiting room when I went to the OB, and I was only up 0.4 pounds, which is good. I was very happy. And I said last time I wore my great big winter boots on the scale, so this time I took those off because of the weather. They asked you to take your shoes off, so that probably helped. So that was good. Blood pressure was good. She said I was measuring, when she measured my belly, a little bit small, but she said you just had a growth ultrasound, so I know everything's fine, and I was measuring fine the time before, so I'm not too worried. I asked her about the cavity that I've decided to have that filled. I'm going to go Monday or Tuesday, can't remember, next week, and have that done. I think Tuesday. And I asked her about my iron, and because I had my glucose screening, and they do blood work for that, and I had been really, really tired around that time, so I was concerned my iron was low, and she tried to look it up, and all it said on the sheet was canceled, and she doesn't really know what that means. They have the results for my glucose screening, but not for the rest of my blood work, so she's going to send me again to have that done. I'm not really that worried about my iron anymore because my energy's been good, but I'll go. She wants me to go and have it done, so I think that was all the questions I had for her, and then we talked quite a bit about the idea of a VBAC and my chances, and she said I'm a really good candidate because I had a successful vaginal birth, so we know my body and my pelvic muscles and bones and stuff know what to do. Because I went into labor naturally and the labor progressed well with Alexandria. She was breech, so we knew it was going to end in a C-section, but I did get well into labor with her before they decided to take me in. They were hoping that labor would stop because I was early. And because the reason for my C-section is not recurring, the reason for the C-section was her being breech, and right now Lydia is not breech. So because of all of those things, I am a really good candidate for a vaginal birth. And she said, you know, our ideal situation would be successful vaginal delivery. The second best option would be a scheduled C-section. And, you know, the least optimal option would be trying for a VBAC and ending in a C-section, which is what I don't want, but I also don't want to not try. So my plan at this point is to definitely try and have the vaginal birth. And she said they keep a really close eye on the baby's heartbeat, and if it starts to fluctuate too much, they would take me in for a C-section. Like, they wouldn't mess around with that. So I'm really comfortable with my chances. I think we can do it. I'm really excited. I can't believe that I'd kind of given up on even thinking about the options because I didn't think I was going to have any. And it turns out that I do now as of this point. So that's good. I go for another ultrasound in a month at 35 weeks. So hopefully I make it that far. and I go for one more bi-weekly appointment. So 2 weeks from now, on the 23rd, and then 2 weeks after that, I have one, and then weekly after that, I'll go for appointments. So the only other real symptoms I've had have been, I'm really breathless, as you can probably tell. Like right now, I feel so out of breath. And when I'm reading the kids' books at night, I really feel like I can't catch my breath. And I sing in a couple of choirs, and we had one of our concerts on this past Sunday, and I have another one this Sunday, and I definitely am finding it harder to sing because I guess my lung capacity is just not what it normally is. And the other thing is, just starting yesterday, we went to a play group, and when I got back, my pelvic and like my pubic bone was really hurting, and I had that with Noah, and he was head down, and I never had it with Alexandria. And I remember thinking, like, I've been thinking the last couple of days, oh, that's weird, like I didn't have it with my breech baby, but I didn't really think she'd flipped. But you know, now that I know she has, it makes sense why suddenly my pelvic bone would start to hurt. So today, like, it's not so bad now, but this afternoon when I was going to my appointment, like it was really bad. I could hardly walk. So hopefully that doesn't get too much worse. A little bit of heartburn, sleeping pretty well. My sleep issues the last little bit were not really to do with me. We've been having a lot of trouble with Noah, and I've talked about it. I talked about it in my day in the life about his dental issues. So I think we're on the road to recovery. He's been really good the last few days. He had been prescribed antibiotics for a possible infection, and it was a nightmare trying to get him to take them. So we just said, you know what, I don't really think he has an infection. He wouldn't let them get an x-ray or even really look in his mouth. We said, let's just not give him the antibiotics. If it gets worse or he's not getting any better, then we'll know. And he's been fine ever since. He's still complaining about a little bit of pain in his cheek where he had chewed on it, but otherwise he's been back to his normal self. So we go for a second filling on Friday. So wish us luck that goes well. But I think sort of because of all of that, he was waking up a ton in the night, and we've had problems with him for a long time with having night terrors where he's semi-awake and he's crying and he's so upset, but you can't get through to him, and you're trying to talk to him, and he's just, the best thing to do is just lay beside him and, you know, pat his back, and eventually he goes back to sleep. And he was having them a lot, so he was ending up in bed with us. And so the last 3 or 4 nights have been, knock on wood, really good. So I'm sleeping better because of that. So I think that is everything for this week. I will update next week, probably on Monday, if there's anything exciting to update. And I'll do a quick belly shot, and that will be it. So here is my 31-week belly. People keep saying, I've been told the entire pregnancy, oh, you're so tiny, you're so tiny. And I don't think I'm tiny. I like my bump. Thanks for watching.